People Savvy Business Show. Now, the reason why it is a special edition is it's the first time that I'm going live on LinkedIn. So it's a bit of a test. So first time we do anything is always a bit of a test. You never know quite how it's working out. So this is going out live on my Facebook page, also on LinkedIn, and also on my YouTube channel. So you can find me all of those three places. So what I do is I help business owners and entrepreneurs transition into being the people lead in their business instead of the technical lead, which is where they tend to start out. They start out as that person that knows something, has a passion around solving a problem. But it comes a time when they need to reassess what their role is, and they need to think about how they can get the best from their team, which sort of creeps up on them. I talk about the swamp scenario where we wake up one day and realise that everything's got a bit different around us, and we haven't really noticed, and it creeps up over a period of time. So that's what I do. I help business owners transition into that leadership position with the skills and knowledge to do that, and always starting with their own personal motivations. So on this show, I wanted to talk about something actually that cropped up on LinkedIn earlier. I commented on it. It's around the mindset of leadership and where we need to be balanced in the way that we approach things. So I'm going to share a few slides with you. Don't worry, it's not going to be a death by PowerPoint. Firstly, what this slide is showing us is the high challenge, high support model. Now, the reason why this is important is that if you think of yourself as a parent, you can, and if you're not a parent, you can imagine this. If you are overly supportive, what you tend to do is you tend to create a dependency on you, and your offspring, daughter, son, isn't really able to grow because you're not really giving them the opportunity to try new things. So you're sort of wrapping them up in cotton wool, I suppose, in one way. So that's being overly supportive. Overly challenging is the opposite, where you are expecting so much of them that they are, in most of the time, they're stressed out. And I was watching the BBC programme last night, Us, and there was a classic situation where the father and the son clearly had that going on, where the son felt very challenged over the years, and they had a heart-to-heart, and obviously happily ever after, which was nice to see. But we don't need to get there. We don't want to be there. So what we need to be is, what we need to do is operate from a position of high challenge, high support as much as possible, and always if we can. But I know sometimes that's a bit too much to ask because other things sort of take over. But that's where we need to have an aspiration to be. So on this model, we have the 4 quadrants, and we'll go through one by one, and we'll just sort of talk about the scenario here. So we start on the top left where we've got the comfort zone. So this is the situation we have when we have high support and low challenge. So there's lots of support going on. There's not any challenge. So we get this comfort situation where nothing really gets done. Everybody feels like it's a comfortable situation, but we're not really going anywhere. And it's never really going to be conducive to high performance. Then let's go to the bottom right, where is the opposite I just described, is the stress situation where there's so much challenge going on and there's no support. So people are feeling as if they are in a situation where they could easily make a mistake. And if that mistake is noticed, then rather than someone stepping in to help them, the situation is that they're going to be hauled over the coals for making the mistake. It's all going to be their fault, and it's a very uncomfortable position to be in. And as you see, that's a stress scenario going on, and it's not likely to get better. And then the bottom left-hand side, we talk about the apathy, which is the low challenge, low support. So literally there is nothing going on here, in that the challenge is non-existent. We're not really going anywhere. We don't really want to do anything as such. It's all about just turning up. And also there's not much support going on either. So it's very much you are you're on your own. Nothing really is really going to inspire you in that position. So where we need to be is that top right-hand corner of the model, where we want to be in a position of commitment, where we are high challenge, high support. And this is the place where, if you are leading a team, this is where you're going to get the best performance. In that, if you are offering lots of challenge, which is fine in the situation, as long as the team has the abilities to deliver on what it is that's expected, that's all going to be much easily or more likely to actually end up in a good scenario if we also offer high support. So when we get this balance right, then our team knows that we're there for them. We're not there just to catch them up when they get things wrong. We are there to support them throughout, and we can have different roles within this, in that we can be coaching our team, we can be mentoring them, but we don't want to be overly directing them, because obviously we want to make sure that we've got the right people on board and people with the right skills, as long as they are clear on your vision, which I'll cover on another episode. The vision, if that's clear, then the team should know what the outcome is and what we're looking for and what we're moving towards. So it's very important to offer, yes, we want to be challenged. People thrive in that sort of environment in most cases, as long as they know that the support is there, and that if things don't go quite to plan, they're not going to be hauled over the coals, and they know that you're there and we can look at the situation and address it and hopefully not make the same mistake again. But if we're in a situation where we can't make any mistakes, and we know that we're going to have to take the can for it, then that's not going to be a particularly good place to operate from. So what we need to remember then is to operate from a balance. So we will need to be high challenge, high support. In balance is what we need. So it's not either or, it's and. We need both. And if you think about it, you want that from your parents. And if you're a parent, you need to give that high challenge and support to your offspring in the same way as you would if you were leading a team. You've got to have high regard, high positive regard, and also an opportunity to genuinely challenge them with what you see as their abilities that they have that maybe they're not using. So I think another thing to remember when you're leading a team is that you are noticing things that maybe that person might not be noticing themselves. And if you can push those people to be better and bring out the best in them that maybe they take for granted in a lot of instances, that they don't see it in themselves. So one of the key roles I see when you're leading a team is to notice each of your team members' superpowers and make sure that they're using them as often as possible, so that they're aware of them. And that's the key. Once someone is aware of something, they're more likely to use them. And if you give them the opportunity to use them and encourage them, then they're more likely to use those skills that you see in them, which is going to benefit the team and benefit you and benefit the individual. It's a triple win overall. So I hope that's been useful. It's definitely made my views on leadership change completely. I didn't really think of it like this when I was in my leadership role back in the day when I had 40 odd staff. If I had this mindset, and I'm sure it would have helped me a great deal. And it's certainly a place where, if you think about it, being balanced with regards to challenge and support, it's actually a good place, and it feels comfortable in that if you're always working towards that scenario balance of high challenge, high support, then ultimately you have a benchmark to work to. So I hope that's again been useful. And let's remember what Mahatma Gandhi told us: be the change you want to see in the world. And until the next episode of the People Savvy Business Show, I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have the opportunity to leave some comments, that'd be great. And I will catch up on the replay as soon as I can. So I will say cheerio for now.